Well, we're struggling what to call this, but we're going to call it season 2.5 of K and Kev, episode 1.
5. Yeah, 2.5. 2.5. I can't.
We're just going with it.
Personally, I can't wait for season 2 3/4 because I heard that's when it gets really good.
That's when
the show gets really juicy. Yeah.
It is Christina K and Kevin Covey. As we know, we have been missing for a couple of months. Lots happened, lots of personal stuff, some fun stuff. We just want to take a moment to thank all of our support systems for everything the past couple of months, our family, our friends. Yes. You guys know who you are. And you guys too. Thanks for bearing with us, but we're back. We're back, baby.
We're back. Lots to report. Not really from me, but a lot from Christina. So, we're gonna get it done. I'm excited.
Well,
we didn't to hear about all the goings on in your life.
We didn't have a K and Kev since we actually did a show live together from the Smith Haven Mall Christmas time, the toy drive.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And we met so many of you guys, which was amazing.
Well, we had a blast. We got to do one in studio. It was prior to that, right?
Yeah.
One at the Walk Studios. And that was a great night. We had a lot of fun. We went to Applebee's after that.
We did. That's where we go.
We had a grand old time. So the service was spectacular, let me tell you. And then it was okay. But then we meet up at the Smith Haven Mall. And then after that, things got a little weird, Christina, because I was home for like a year. Yeah. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
But
it was a while, yeah.
But guess who went into New York City and caught himself a good old case of the COVID?
I know.
This guy. Not good. Not good. But you know what? I'm doing okay. I don't intend to make light of it because I know what everyone is dealing with, has dealt with, and the severity of this thing. But man, did that thing hit, that wave that hit in December was something else. And it hit it hit everywhere. I mean, it hit,
it did.
In New York, it hit out here in Los Angeles, even though I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends get hit by it. So it was crazy. It crazy
hit
times.
The radio station very hard. And I was saying around Christmas, there was all but 5 people who didn't get it, and I was included.
Yeah.
But then I got blood work recently, and it showed that I had the antibodies. And I don't know if you remember, in November, right before Thanksgiving, I was really, really sick, and I had 103 fever interviewing Rob Thomas. It was like the worst thing. And I actually ended up having COVID. The test came back negative, but because of the timing of when I took the test, I was told. Yeah. So I actually ended up having it too and didn't know, which is probably for the best that I didn't know. But
that's crazy.
So it just shows you everyone was getting hit. And we're both double vaccinated. I mean, triple vaccinated. I am now, but yeah.
I didn't get the booster yet. Yikes. I got to get on it.
Working
on
it.
What am I doing? But you know what? I got those antibodies, I had the thing for a while, but that's
wait a little bit. Yeah.
I can wait a little bit, but I got to go get it. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but like, you think about the amount of people like you who had it and probably didn't even know that they had it, or it was like, caught in between those moments. It's just been a crazy couple of months, but got better, got on the mend. Unfortunately, was home with my family, and my father got it. It was crazy. It was crazy times, but he's all good now. I'm good. Mom didn't catch it.
Thank goodness.
Mom felt left out. She was like, "Oh, I want it too." I'm kidding. It's a stupid joke. It's like, these are such serious times. You need to make jokes. Like she felt like left out. Like, why am I the only one who doesn't get COVID? Come on.
Yeah.
But no, everyone was fine. Mom never got it. And Dad and I are good. And
Thank goodness.
back out in LA and grinding and back out here healthy and ready to roll. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. But it was fun being home for a while. We got to hang out again after I got over the COVID. We got to hang out again, which was very nice. We had ourselves a lovely dinner night. And it was a lot of fun.
You got to meet someone very special that night.
How had I not met this special someone?
I know.
Now, for the viewers, who is this special someone? Christine?
You met little Randy Man.
I met the Randy Man. Apparently the Randy Man can, but I don't know. That's what I've heard.
He loved you. Oh my goodness. He was on Kevin's lap for like 2 hours.
Randy and I have a lot in common. We just like to stay on the couch and never leave.
Eat.
and eat all the time and just... Yeah, and I also like to be carried outside when I need to do my business. I'm kidding. That's disgusting. I don't do that. That was so weird. I don't know why I just went there. But I do like to be carried from one place to another. Randy doesn't seem to want to do things on his own, which I really appreciate. I really, for the record, I use a restroom when I go to the bathroom too. I'm kidding.
Thanks for clarifying.
I'm really loopy today. This is a weird one. Season 2.5, like the viewers are going to be like,
it's the wild one.
Can I tell you something? They hit season 2.5 on K and Kev, and it got really weird. But I love Randy. We had a blast. And he was just chilling in my lap. We had a great time. We were listening to some some old school music. We were listening to the hits
Yeah,
from when we
Sync, Backstreet Boys.
when we were kids, and we just had a great
Yeah.
time. And hanging with your sister was so much fun. I always loved seeing her. We had so much fun. Yeah.
We really did. It was a really good night. So
Yeah,
I'm glad that I got to see you. And
I know.
yeah, we will have big things planned for, let's call it season 3 when that happens. There's a reason why this is 2.5. You guys will just have to stay tuned for that.
You're like, why? Let us know now. We
Tell
won't.
me why.
Nothing but a heartbreak. No, we won't share all of our secrets. We got to keep some stuff going here. Yeah.
No, give us some credit, guys. We got to hide some stuff.
That's true.
But
that's true.
You know, I think it's very fitting that we're reuniting today because the day we're filming this is what, February 27th? Is that what it is? And it is the season 20 premiere of American Idol, which is how Kevin and I we met because of not on the show, but we met because of American Idol.
No, we met on the show. Yeah, we met on the show.
Kevin was, oh my gosh, I know they're on season 20, but it was longer than 15 years ago that you were on the show in season 5.
Please stop this. I can't take this anymore.
Am I aging you right now?
Well, we do this every year now because we've been doing this for like 3 years now, this podcast on and off and whatnot. And yeah, I can't believe with each year that passes, I can't believe how long it's been. I can't believe, I just can't believe the time that has passed. But yeah, it's been a long time. And the significance of this is kind of interesting too, because we started this podcast. Was it the very first season of the new American Idol on ABC?
Yeah, it was.
And the K and Kev podcast was kind of originally centered around recaps.
We did a lot of recaps
of Idol episodes. We did a deep dive. Like we were like, I think we were like saying contestants' heights and weights and stuff. It was like, right? We weren't. That's weird. Another weird thing. We were doing that. But we like did a breakdown of everyone, like going back to the semis, like not even just like that final 12. We did like kind of a deep breakdown of everything, and it was fun. Yeah, that was the season that Maddie Poppy won, and oh my gosh,
Gabby
Barrett, who's gone on to do just terrific things within country music, and is just and pop crossover is killing the game. So yeah, listen, it was a lot of fun. I like where we're at now because now we just do everything.
Yeah, me too.
Personally, I think that's more fun, but you know,
so
it was a fun start. It was a fun start for sure.
It was, and it gave us something to talk about, and then it just evolved. But it's really funny because of American Idol. I mean, I was so into it back in the day. That's how you and I met. I was doing an American Idol show. Yeah. Kevin calls in, busy streets of New York. We have a phone conversation.
In a wind tunnel, yes.
Wind tunnel. And we talked about this before, phone interviews, both as the artist or the person being interviewed and the person doing the interview can be so difficult. And the fact that we hit it off with all that stuff going on and then just built this friendship over it says a lot about our friendship, first of all. But
yeah, absolutely.
It was because of that and because of American Idol that I was doing all these interviews and that we met. And so there's always a soft spot in my heart for Idol, but is it sad that season 20 is premiering and I don't have much of an interest to watch?
Yeah, I'm really offended. And you need to take that back because I'm waiting over here. When we get done with this, I'm just going to be sitting by the TV. I'm going to be sitting by the TV. We're just waiting for it to start. No, it's not bad at all. And I'll tell you, I love the show. I have so much love for the show and all of the amazing things that it's brought me since. And
launched your career.
And with my, all the acting stuff that it led to. I mean, maybe I would have found my way to acting without it. Maybe not. I don't know. That's the beauty of this thing is you never know. Yeah. But I know that the journey was such an amazing one, and Idol opened like all those doors for me, or opened a ton of them for me anyway. And what a ride it was. But there's just too many shows. There's too many shows.
Many. I can't keep up between all the streaming services and then what's actually on cable. First of all, trying to find what's on what streaming service is so overwhelming to me.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then you have to get the streaming service because there's one particular show you want to watch.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I can't get them all in. I'm trying, but I don't have that much time to do that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think you and I are both in the same boat where we definitely stuck around for the first couple of seasons of the new version of Idol, and then kind of trailed off. I think they attempted, admirably attempted a season during COVID. It didn't really work, if we're being frank. It's just like it was weird watching people sing in their backyard. I thought it was cool. They tried
it.
And it's all pre-recorded. Part of the beauty of these shows is that live thing and those authentic moments. And everything just feels a little rehearsed on this go around now. it's a different time. Like we've talked about it with Idol now, with all these shows. Social media is a big part of it, and it kind of takes some of the like wonder and excitement of the show out of it when these contestants that they're bringing on. I mean, first off, like they're all good looking. I know they never
all look
used
the same.
I know they never used to do that because they had me on the show. But they had like people that were like characters and like, there was, it was wide ranging. Now everyone that's on the show, I'm like, they took these people straight out of High School Musical. All of them look like they could be like inserted into the new Disney Channel show or whatever, or the new Nickelodeon show. I don't know. It's a weird.
Hit the nail on the head with that though.
It's
seriously,
weird.
They all look the same.
And that's not even the worst part. The worst part, not the worst part, but the tough part for me is that you need like a major social media following going into these shows now. I don't know, not to, ruin the behind the scenes for people that still love the show. If you love the show, keep watching it. It's a great show. But, you need a certain following now to even get on the show because they want insurance that if you make it on the show that you're going to be able to have a social media presence. I think that's a big part of it now. And it kind of takes some of the wonder out of it for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
agree. Look what happened. I don't know if it was last season or the season before that, because I kind of stopped watching, but there was a guy, Benson Boone, who was on it and he was a big TikTok star.
Great name.
And they were
Benson Boone.
Benson Boone.
Probably not.
And they were like, you're going to be such a big star, blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of just disappeared from the show because he already got a recording deal before he even like finished competing on Idol. So then he left and it was like, I don't understand. I mean, we actually are playing one of his songs on the radio now, which is funny because I was like, what happened to this guy? Oh, here he is.
Sounds like Benson Boone's doing pretty well for himself.
Well, it's really ironic too because the name of the song is Ghost Town, and I feel like he kind of just disappeared like a ghost on the season. So
that's what he did to all of his Idol fans. Ghost Town. See you later. Yeah, Benson Boone. I hope his real. It sounds too slick of a name. I hope his real name is like Giuseppe or something.
Giuseppe.
I hope it's just something different that he was like, well, we can't do that. So Benson Boone. Yeah. But no, listen, it's tough. It's tough. The thing I do appreciate about American Idol is that they still do one season a year because I like when
The Voice is like 20, right?
Yeah, and I've said this on this podcast multiple times, so I'm starting to repeat myself a little bit. But like, yeah, the Voice, there's multiple seasons per year. It's just like, give people a little time to miss it, Yep. Yeah, give the viewer a little breathing room in between. But you know what? These shows, a lot of them are still ratings juggernauts, or maybe not ratings juggernauts, but they still do well enough in the ratings to where it's like, okay, we need to bring that back because better to have another season of The Voice as opposed to a rerun or another show that we know won't have quite the same following. So it's all about ratings.
They promised a lot of different things for season 20, which kind of intrigues me, kind of doesn't. Because they've teased like, oh, we're doing something different. And they brought like just Bobby Bones in. And it was like, that's what you were teasing. But for this, apparently, there's like a platinum ticket that you can get, or it's not just the gold ticket. It will help you like skip Hollywood Week or skip, like it will give you perks. Like you get to pick who you want for group week. You get like group round. You get to like have all these advantages based on your audition, which is cool. But at the same time, it's like, are they just kind of picking their top 10 that way? Because they're giving out like 9 or 10 of these tickets.
I think you just need to keep it fresh, right? So it's like, it's just a way to, I don't know. I don't even know how that shortcut would work. One of my favorite parts of the show was always Hollywood Week. I always kind of liked that process. It's so stressful and crazy, and they would ramp it up and the drama of that, of course. And I know firsthand, obviously, from having gone through it, but like, that's an interesting take on it. We can just skip Hollywood Week. I like the whole perks thing. What do I, if I get the platinum ticket, do I get to like take Luke Bryan's parking spot or something? Like, how does this work? Ooh, perks. Okay. Like, what are these perks you speak of? I want to know what the perks are. Yeah.
I know. I'm interested to see what that's going to be, but I don't know if I'm interested enough where I have to watch the full episode or I can catch it on YouTube. I feel like that's what happens with me with singing shows now. I just watch the performances on YouTube.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, that's the beauty of YouTube now is like, I talk about it with like Saturday Night Live. Like I definitely still enjoy the show, but I don't watch it weekly. Yep. And like my mom does. So like my mom and I will have like a routine phone call, like either on Sunday or early in the week. She's like,
that's so cute.
Oh, did you catch Saturday Night Live? And I'm like, nah, I didn't watch it. But like, I I love Weekend Update. I think Michael
Yes.
Che and Colin Jost are hilarious together.
Fantastic.
So if I don't really care so much about all the skits because they could be hit or miss, but I like to go and routinely watch myself some Weekend Update on YouTube because that's like,
I love that.
The beauty of this time that we're living in. But, that's just, it's like there's good and bad to it because now people aren't tuning in like they used to. But you're right. I think with The Voice, with Idol, you can just catch it online, the best performances. Yeah.
So I feel like the thing with Idol in the beginning is they were cranking out stars, whether they won or they came in, 5th place, 7th place, whatever. Kevin Kovacs was born. I mean,
clearly
11th,
they were
right?
Clearly they were cranking out stars back in the day. Yeah.
So I feel like the only big name that has stood out in the past 5 seasons, I guess, 4 seasons since they've been back on ABC is Gabby Barrett. That's like the only name that really has made something of herself. I mean, Maddie Pappy's doing okay, and Alejandro, who's Scary Pool Party, but Gabby Barrett's the only one that I'm like, oh, American Idol.
I haven't heard enough about Alejandro. How's he doing?
I don't really know. He goes under Scary Pool Party now. Is his like DJ kind of name?
Yeah, I hate that.
I don't think.
I hate DJ names. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I love him. That dude was super talented. It was so much fun to watch.
So good. I remember I talked to you about him. I talked to Nick Fradiani about him. We were like all like very happy that it was a different kind of contestant doing something very different.
So unique, yes.
Instead of the same old thing. But the reason I bring up Gabby Barrett is because I think a big reason why she got a big name, at least on radio, is because of Charlie Puth when they did the song I Hope.
That was big.
And I actually got to chat with Charlie Puth this week. So
well, look at you just chatting with all the big wigs. You're just hitting like all those big male stars. You did Ed Sheeran a few months back, which was in person, which was nuts.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Which was I tell like all my friends about that. I'm like, yeah, Christina got to talk to Ed Sheeran, because I just think it's the coolest thing ever because I love Ed Sheeran, and I also am a fan of Charlie Puth. I think he's terrific and one of the big names going right now. He's like a really talented really guy. He knows what the people want. Yeah. Now, tell me about talking to him. Like how was that?
Well, I was excited because this was the perfect time for me to talk to him because between his song Light Switch, which I just love so much, and he also wrote so good. He also wrote excuse me.
I don't like that song as much.
Getting choked up.
He wrote that song too, which
the song with the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber, Stay.
He wrote
that song.
Wait, I know that song.
It's one of my those are the 2 songs when I play them on air. I can't be doing anything else. And I told Charlie Puth that because that's so rare for someone in radio to play these songs day after day. And I do multiple radio stations a day, but those 2 songs I'm very here for.
I had no idea he wrote that song. Yeah.
He's kind of like a mini Ryan Tedder or a Max. What is his name? Can't think of his name now.
Yeah.
Those guys just wrote like every song under the sun, and Charlie Puth's a big one. I mean, he's written for Lil Wayne and Jason Derulo and Trey Songz and Meghan Trainor, Ava Max. Like he's wrote some amazing songs, and then he performed songs too. And this was the perfect time to talk to him because I actually really, really love the stuff he's coming out with. Not that I didn't the other stuff, but like I'm really vibing on this stuff.
Yeah, he's a super talented kid, and just you talking about how. Being a writer and Ryan Tedder in particular. I mean, that guy wrote for how many of the big artists, and I don't think the common person would really even know that. To know like of his involvement behind the scenes, and obviously like the success of his band One Republic. But then you go to someone like Charlie, and I mean, huge. I heard something about Charlie, and I don't know if you asked him about this, but like, it's not his favorite. Like the music he puts out is not his favorite.
No, but he's an R&B guy.
But he knows it's what the people want, and he knows like he's just knows what's going to get radio play, and it's like that's just well done because maybe he's not super passionate about it, but then when you talk about the people he's written for, then oh, okay, well that branches out. We're not just talking pop anymore. We're talking hip hop. We're talking R&B, and he's going into another genre, which I find really intriguing.
Yeah, and it was really
as a big fan of those, myself as a big fan of those types of music,
So it was really cool talking to him about because I don't know if you saw the music video, but the music video is filled with Easter eggs, or as he calls them, what does he call them? Ice cream cones of like teases of what he's got coming up with. So I was trying to break it down with him. And some of the stuff I couldn't keep in the interview because we're not allowed to say some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Kevin in particular is really going to like where some of his collaborations are going by the end of the year. But I said to him, what?
I can't wait until we're done with this. So you can just tell me. I'm not going to tell anybody.
After show?
I'm not going to tell anybody, but yeah. The after show of season 2.5.
Show?
Yeah. Anyway, please continue. Yeah.
Because at first I was like, well, he paints the fence red in the video. So I was like, are you working with Taylor Swift? Like, have all these like ideas. But I mean, he obviously can't say much, but he was, I have to commend Charlie because he probably did a slew of interviews that day.
Yeah.
And he tackled them all like it was the first one, the only one. It was fresh. It was fun. Yeah. We were poking fun at each other. We were making jokes. It was a very good time. It was one of the most fun interviews I've had in a while. So I was very excited to talk to him.
How long?
That should be, what's up?
Admittedly, I haven't watched the interview yet.
It's not up yet. That's why.
Oh, great. Okay.
I just put like a little teaser on Instagram, but I didn't actually put the full, because in the interview, we put parts of the music video and we have to get that, Atlantic Records has to, go through this whole like thing with
approval.
Us. So that, if it is live by the time this goes up, I'll link it in the description box below. But if not, you'll just have to wait. I'm
excited. I can't wait to watch this. How long did you all talk?
It was funny. They told me beforehand, here's the bullet points. You have to only talk about this stuff and you get 5 minutes. We talked for about 25 minutes and we didn't really talk about any of the bullet points. It's like we knew each other our whole lives. It was very, very fun. I really had a good time with him.
Charlie's like, screw that. I'm not talking about these bullet points. But let's talk about some other stuff. Yeah. What'd you think
he wanted to talk about a lot of cool things. I mean, I really had fun with him.
He went completely off script. He's like, have you seen the new season of Billions? No, I'm just but like
we didn't talk about that.
Okay, well, you didn't talk about that. But and this is one thing that I'll say to kind of piggyback off of your comment about how he brought energy to the interview. I don't certainly not recently. I haven't had experience with this, but going back to the Idol days and going back to the days of, some bigger acting projects and whatnot for myself. When you're doing press and you have one interview after another, it's easy to kind of lose steam, lose momentum.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about one of the biggest, pop stars on the planet in Charlie Puth. And for him to bring you that energy after you think he'd already had a pretty busy day, that's really telling of like the person too, that he would rally and provide you that energy to give you, because, it's really just being thoughtful and considerate of you, because he's given you the 100%. Best possible interview he can. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, woe is me, I'm a celebrity, I have to talk to a lot of people, but there's something to be said for that. That to me is like a character thing. That's like that's a person with good character, someone who, who rallies and gives you that. I think that's really cool. So.
And, I had heard from people that have talked to him that he was okay. He wasn't anything special. So I wasn't expecting anything, but he exceeded my expectations. So it was very nice.
People were like knocking him like, oh, this isn't going to be good.
That I can't tell you how many times that happens when you talk to like industry people and you're like, oh, I'm interviewing so-and-so. And they're like, good luck. My interview didn't go so great, or I've heard things or whatever. I remember, and we might have talked about this in the podcast years ago when I was interviewing Idina Menzel. Everyone was like, you're not going to like her. It's going to burst your bubble. She's not going to. It was over the phone and we had the best time. And I was like, I don't know if it's because I didn't just harp on the Frozen stuff with her. Like I was a legit fan and I brought up her solo music. I don't really know where it stems from. It could just be the person who interviewed. It could be having a bad day. I don't know, but I definitely got a great version of Charlie. Either he was having a good day or he was just excited. I don't know what it was, but I don't have anything bad to say about the guy.
Well, and it goes to show you can't believe everything you hear, because sometimes people have a bad day or people have an off day or someone's not clicking, I mean, not the case with us, because every episode we do of this show
is a bad day.
Is well, in my personal life, yes. Professionally, everything's great. Woohoo. But like, no. What I was going to say, you really turned that around. I was going to say every episode that you and I do of this is absolute, as the kids would say, it's fire. It's great. It's amazing.
Fire emoji.
It's fire emojis. But yeah, listen, sometimes you catch people on an off day. Sometimes you're not going to get the best of someone. So maybe that particular person had a not so great interview with Adina,
Yeah.
or maybe that person was just not the greatest interviewer, and then they get a hold of a Christina K who nails the interview, and it's like boom, you know. But you just you never know with people. But I think it sounds
that
like you.
The same could be said from my radio show. Like there are some times where I'm not perky, I am not having a good day. If it was the first time someone listened to me, they'd be like, why is she on the radio? But it happens. Like perform like on American Idol, they could have a great week and the next week could be poop. Yeah,
because you're human. Yeah, it's just you can't. Nobody's going to be on 100% of the time. But yeah, I think it sounds like it was a very natural interview with Charlie, and I think that's really cool. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. It was
when it comes out. Yeah,
when it comes out, coming soon. It was a fun day of interviews because I had Charlie Puth, which I only found out about like 2 or 3 days beforehand. So it happened so quick. And then earlier that day, I had an interview with Disney, which that interview, by the time this goes out, will be up. They're doing a collaboration with Cirque du Soleil. So it's like a Disney Cirque du Soleil show, which has never happened before. And the girl that I got to interview was from Long Island. Like it was we just clicked right away. It was a huge Disney fan, huge theater fan. So another person who I felt like I knew my entire life, which is rare.
That's awesome. I don't mean to interrupt. What was her affiliation with it? Was she a performer? Was she just someone associated with the project? And she's from the island? That's so cool.
Yeah. So she went to school upstate and then she started working with Cirque du Soleil, and then this is their first ever production, and she got cast, and she's the villain, which was fun to hear about. Yeah. So that was really cool too.
That is cool.
And then I talked to your bud Daughtry later that day as well.
Don't sound too excited about that.
I've talked to him so many, like it just becomes a part of my job, like my normal day-to-day, like, oh, you got to talk to Gavin, Daughtry. But I'm not complaining about that. I don't want it to sound like I'm like, oh, these guys again. But it's been so many times that it feels like I'm talking to a coworker or a listener or people that I normally talk. I don't know if that makes sense.
Your conversations with Chris Daughtry are more frequent than my weekly phone calls with mom. You're just like, oh, hey, Daughtry, how's it going? How's everything going? Yeah. Oh, a new song. Great. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, well, no, you have talked to him a lot, and I know, there's, major, like the station has always been a massive supporter of Daughtry and Gavin DeGraw and artists of the like. And so, they've been a big part of the station, but yeah, I'm sure you've gotten to know these guys pretty well.
Pretty well.
Daughtry, Daughtry better than I ever did. And I did a show with him probably. Yeah.
I mean, I've only been interviewed him a handful of times, but then someone like Gavin, I think it's 11 interviews I've done with Gavin.
I'll go way back. Like you guys. Yeah.
We're gonna add another one to the resume at the Paramount coming soon.
This is like a pal at this point. It's like, hey, bro, what's going on? Yeah,
he's my birthday bud.
He's your birthday bud. But but that's exciting. I mean, being able to talk to these people and the interview with Daughtry went well, I trust.
It's fun. It's nice because this was my routine before the pandemic, and then it went away for 2 years. So the fact that it's back now, it just feels so normal, like and it was nice to have them be Zoom interviews and not just over the phone. Because they're, I think Charlie was in California and I don't know where Daughtry was calling from, and the person in Disney calling. So like those would have just been phone interviews in the past. So it's something extra special, like even with N Kev, that we get to do this on Zoom now, because that wasn't a thing before.
I will say, and not just talking about not just talking about N Kev, but talking about other programming, it feels more personable. Like being I'm just a small sports fan. And when I watch some of these shows now, the shows that typically would, some of my favorite, sports talk shows daily, they used to just do phoners, and now you get to see the person over Zoom. Just feels more personal. It just feels more personal. It's more intriguing. I'm more inclined to watch as a result of seeing them on Zoom than I previously was. So that is one of the good things that the pandemic has brought about, I think.
Yeah, it's a silver lining. I always look for silver linings with stuff. Before we get to our question, I want to tell you about a show that I've been watching that we had talked about when the trailer came out.
What is this?
I'm obsessed with it. Pam and Tommy. Have you watched it on Hulu yet?
I have not watched an episode of Pam and Tommy. I've been watching another kind of scandalous show, but wait, I want to hear about Pam and Tommy first. Well, I'll tell you my show, and then so I don't want to talk about what you want to talk about, Christine. I want to talk about my show. Okay. I started watching this weekend. I started watching Euphoria.
Oh, that's a big show.
It is.
Is it good?
Freaking intense. It's an intense show.
Heard.
Oh, it's real good.
Intense how? Like, what's intense about it? Like, is it a show that I would watch? I want to make this about me, Kevin.
Know.
Is it something that will interest me?
It might be. I love you. It might be a little heavy for you. It might be a little bit. It's like it's heavy. It's heavy on. I mean, you know, disclaimer: heavy on drug use. You know, a lot of adult content within this show, but the struggles of like modern day school, which is different from 15 years ago when you and I were doing this. It's a whole different world, and that's part of the appeal is lost on me because of the way kids speak and this and that, and it's very different from when we were going to school. It's a different time, but the performances are wonderful. The cinematography is like it's crazy. It's so well shot.
It won a bunch of Emmys, right?
The directing, it won a bunch of Emmys. Zendaya's just, I mean, you can't say enough amazing things about her. And you watch this, you've seen her, I know for you, Spider-Man and all these wonderful, films that she's done, but you see her in this and the darkness of this role. And it shows just the broad range that she has, like as an actress. And the other actresses, the other young women on the show are all fantastic, but the content's a little heavy. But tell me about Pam and Tommy, because I haven't watched Pam and Tommy yet and I want to watch it.
Ooh, if I'm just going to make a prediction now, Sebastian Stan and Lily James have to get nominated for Emmys for this. Oh my gosh. When the picture first came out of them in the prosthetics and the makeup and all and looking like them, I was like, wow, they really look like them. But they really became them and it's unbelievable.
A transformation. Yeah.
I've always loved Sebastian Stan since he was on Gossip Girl and then the Marvel stuff and I, Tonya. Lily James, I only saw, I think, in Cinderella, in the live action Cinderella. So I wasn't too familiar with her, but I am a fan now.
Well,
this is also heavy content that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
It's I highly recommend
her. Sebastian Stan looks like he's terrific in it.
Fantastic.
Lily James in particular, like became Pamela Anderson. I was like, what? Like you remember growing up and seeing Pamela, and when we were super young and Baywatch and the iconic, and she's running down the beach. She looks the exact same. And
it's unbelievable.
And people need to, realize that like the commitment that requires, the heavy makeup and the hair and the whole deal and the prosthetics and all that. Like she's they're shooting in the early morning to the early afternoon. She's getting in this makeup chair at like 3-4 in the morning for this stuff.
It's
no joke. And him as well. And I'm like, as someone who's experienced that and getting in a makeup chair or like prosthetics and stuff like that, but never to such an extent where you're channeling someone else like that. And I can't. I really need to start. I don't know how I haven't yet, but I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it.
Oh, good. I was hooked like 5 seconds into it. I was like, wow. Seth Rogen, Nick Offerman,
great,
amazing in this show. Yeah, really, really great.
Seth is cool, but I love Nick Offerman. I think everyone loves Nick Offerman. He's like so likable and hilarious and everything. Yeah.
And he's such a sleaze bag in this. Oh my God. It's like the morning show. I don't know. We haven't had a chance to talk about this. I was watching the morning show and Ted Lasso, and I couldn't watch The Office after the morning show because Steve Carell was so good. You hated him. And I was like, I couldn't watch The Office.
Right.
Like he was. That's a sign of a good actor.
but that's the commitment to the role. And I take back what I said about Euphoria being a little too much for you because you're watching Pam and Tommy. That's racy content. Yeah. I think it's I think there's a little bit more. I can't
darkness.
A little bit more darkness in Euphoria, probably. I don't know. I mean, Pam and Tommy, like, to the outside observer seems like, oh, this is a wild show and it's crazy. But the contents of it are pretty dark about how these people's lives were like really just flipped upside down because their personal property was stolen from them. And they were made.
The whole story is fascinating and like so scary that it's true.
And, we're a family podcast, so we won't go into like the racy details of all of it. But, this was like these people were made to look really dumb, like it was their fault that their personal property was stolen. When someone like went into their home and stole their stuff,
it was
like
a crime.
Crazy. Yeah, it was a real deal crime. So I don't know. I think you should watch Euphoria now, and I should watch Pam.
What's
and Tommy
it on? What's Euphoria?
It's HBO. It's HBO.
Honestly, I don't have HBO.
Well, I will give you my.
Is it? Oh, you got a little password
I
there?
got a password. We'll figure it
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, I can hook you up. I can hook you up. Okay. I know I'm like
Okay.
I know I'm mostly useless, but
Oh, stop it. Oh my God.
Every once in a while I come through. To our viewers, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give any of you my HBO password. I love you all.
I'll give it to you guys later. Don't worry.
But I just gonna like post it as like a YouTube comment. It's like, I love you all, but I don't know you like that. Okay. Christina and I, we got a history of friendship here. So anyway, yeah, I think it's worth a watch. And yeah, and I got to check out Pam and Tommy, which is Hulu, right? For
Hulu, yes.
For the viewers, if they want to check it out. Yeah.
It's a mini series. So I think it has like 9 or 10 episodes total.
Everything's
which
a
I'm like, there's only
now.
2 left, and I'm like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, we gotta check out these shows. Great shows.
All right, so here we go. Let's get to the final questions here.
Let's do it.
Mary Ellen, this kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier. Thank you for watching, Mary Ellen. She says, back to the Idol stuff. Mm-hmm. Who is the one contestant you want to meet most from the show that you haven't met yet? This is a thinker. Because we've both been fortunate enough to work with a lot of these people in the past 20 seasons.
Yeah.
Can we guess who the others would be and then say what our actual answer is? Because I thought of yours before I could think of them.
Well, yeah, I can't come up with a more unique one than the one I have, which is like a pretty boilerplate answer. Yeah, guess mine, sure.
Yours is Kelly Clarkson, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I knew it.
But that's not like... That's the most boring answer.
It's not. If I hadn't interviewed her, I would say the same thing.
Oh, you did interview Kelly. I'm gonna guess for you. Have you met Carrie? Carrie?
It is Carrie. Oh my God.
I didn't think. Yeah.
I would love to. I thought you were gonna guess Elliot for me because I only tell you that.
Oh yeah, because every time you see me, you say you're a jerk, and you still haven't set up an interview with Elliot, and I hate you. You never say that to me, but. That's how I feel after you hinted that. Carrie Underwood. Yeah. And I've told you that I briefly met Carrie on Idol.
Wait, no.
Yeah, because she won the season before me.
For you.
So she performed, this is before she burst out into the superstardom that we know her to have today. She won, and she performed on the semifinals of the following season of my season. So she performed. And I may have told this story on the podcast, but it's a great one. It's a funny one. Is that I know we're running long here, but we meet her, and I'm like, oh my God, she's very quiet at that point. I think she's since broken out of her shell or whatever, or maybe she was just quiet that day. Who knows? But she's gorgeous. And Carrie Underwood, I'm like, oh my God.
I know, she's stunning.
16-year-old Kevin meeting friggin' Carrie, and I'm like, oh my God. So I meet her, and I'm like, it's very nice to meet you. Pleasure to shake her hand. And it couldn't have been sweeter. She just said a couple of words or whatever, but nothing crazy. But we met her in pairs, and they paired me up with an old friend of mine, Gideon, who was on, reached the semifinals.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about Gideon.
If people don't remember Gideon McKinney, I pretty much stole a spot from him in the top 12 because Gideon had a way better voice than I did. I'm sorry, he just did. He did, Christine. I'm sorry, but people like me or whatever, so I guess I made it. But, but yeah, Gideon, it doesn't really know her. I guess maybe hadn't watched the season prior, so he shakes her hand. But he had such a distinct speaking voice, and Gideon said, "Kelly, it's a pleasure meeting you." And I look at him, and I'm like, bro, that's not her name. That's you're getting your Idol superstars mixed up.
What was her reaction to that?
Oh, she just didn't even acknowledge it. It was super gracious and sweet and said, "Oh, nice to meet you too." And that was it. But I walked away and I was like, ah! I was like, that was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, Kelly, it's a pleasure to meet you. And yeah, because Gideon, he had, oh my God, just an out of this world throwback, voice, was so talented. And his speaking voice, much like his singing voice, was very distinct. And he called her Kelly instead of Carrie. And that was right after. I was right after we were introduced to her.
It wasn't like it was someone who not everyone knew, but I feel like even if you didn't watch American Idol, Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood. I guess maybe a year after, maybe not so much.
And in fairness, this is less than a year, after she won, so she wasn't the big star she is today. But I just thought it was the funniest thing. Yeah. But you'd love to meet Carrie, and Carrie is wonderful. She was so nice. She was so nice, and she's unbelievable.
She's
Carrie,
such
not
a
Kelly.
talent.
Kelly's unbelievable
they're
too.
both unbelievable, but it's so
No,
funny that
I just meant the name was wrong. But Kelly Clarkson is unbelievable too. Yes.
Isn't it so funny that we met the other's answer to that? Like that's kind of.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. But you got to know Kelly way better than I didn't.
Girl, that's my girl.
I met Carrie for 5 seconds. I met her like a fan would. You know, you sat down with Kelly, got to know her. Yeah. But anyway, that's awesome. Yeah. Great question, by the way.
That was a good one. I was like, I really had to think about that one. But yeah, those are the queens of Idol. They're still the most successful people to come out of the show to this day. So
far and away. Oh yeah.
Of course they're going to be in the answers.
Jennifer Hudson.
Who knows?
Jennifer Hudson's no slouch, but yeah, she's done amazing too.
She's the only one that's won an Academy Award. So
yes. She's right up there. But the three of them, another tier for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, until episode 2 of season 2.5.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? We may need to go back on this. We may need to go back to the drawing board on this one. I don't know. 2.5. No, 2.5. 2.5. I love it.
2.5. It's going to be a weird season, but season 3 will be here before you know it. And cool things on the way. I can't wait to hear about more stuff that you've got going on. And who knows who we'll call in between the next 2 episodes. You never know.
Oh, we'll call some cool people, I bet. Oh, you will. Not me.
You never know. Who do I
talk to? I mean, I call my mom. She's pretty cool.
You know who you should call? Elliot. You see what I did there?
Maybe.
you walked into that, huh?
This is like
right into it.
This is like our Jimmy Kimmel at the end of every episode. He's like, my apologies to Matt Damon. Like Elliot has become that for this show. It's like one of these days we're gonna interview Elliot. You know what I mean? Nah, probably not.
You know, his big hit was "Wait for You," and I feel like I've been waiting for him to do an interview with me.
You're certainly waiting on me to make this happen, and I'm not delivering. I'm not. At this point, I'm just like enjoying disappointing you. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just like
that is
what a terrible friend. I know I'm a terrible friend. Can you cut this off way before we say all these things? This has run so long. We go off the tracks here at N Kev, but we're really doing it this time.
It's season 2.5. It's all good.
2.5. We hold nothing back.
Ooh, nothing. Well, some things, not your HBO password.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you. Not telling you people. I'm sorry.
Still have our secrets. Kev, it was so great chatting with you. I miss you. I can't wait for you to come back home.
I know. I'll be back at some point for sure.
Randy's waiting he wants to sit on your lap again. He wants to
I look forward to it.
All the treats.
Lazy Kevin and lazy Randy. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, they're a match made in heaven. And we will talk to you guys really soon. Let us know if you have any questions for us, because we really truly love answering your questions. Leave those in the comments below, and we will talk to you guys really soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.